Yes, I want to go back to our earlier article. Southern Heritage Classic matching up HBCU teams canceled over coronavirus. The Southern Heritage Classic, which since 1990 has annually matched football teams from historically black colleges and universities at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, has been canceled because of the coronavirus pandemic, the game's promoters announced. Jackson State and Tennessee State were scheduled to play in the 31st Heritage Classic on September the 12th. It is believed to be the first college football game canceled because of the pandemic. On Monday, the health department in Shelby County, Tennessee, where Memphis is located, reported 256 coronavirus cases, the largest increase in a single day since the beginning of the pandemic. The department announced that an anticipated move into phase 3 of reopening would be delayed as a result. The game's organizers said the decision to cancel was made after reviewing a copy of the Shelby County Health Department's directive detailing emergency management relief efforts to address the pandemic. Last season, an announced crowd of 48,347 watched Jackson State defeat Tennessee State 49-44. The game's promoters said more than 75,000 people annually attend the three-day event, which includes tailgating and a parade. I know this is a great disappointment to many who consider the SHC one of the major highlights of the year, SHC founder Fred Jones said in a statement. The health and safety of our attendees, along with our staff, sponsors, and others, is a top priority. I encourage everyone to keep practicing recommended safety and social distancing measures so that we can return to our usual activities as soon as possible. In a statement, the Memphis Athletics Department said it will continue to stay in contact with state, local, and regional health officials for guidance on home games in the fall. And all current indications are that home games will be played as planned. The university said that, based on current projections, only season ticket holders will be accommodated and there will be no single game sales for home games. Memphis is scheduled to start the season against Arkansas State at home on September the 5th. So we will see how that pans out. And that article was probably a few weeks ago, if not a month ago. So since that has happened, there have been some other things that have taken place as well too. How about Morehouse College canceling its football season? And I want to get into that right now as well too. Morehouse, a historically black college in Atlanta, announced Friday that it is canceling its 2020 football season because of the coronavirus pandemic. Morehouse also will not compete in cross country, its other fall sport, this year. Morehouse president David A. Thomas said the school would continue to honor athletic scholarships. I know this news will be most disappointing to our scholar athletes, especially our seniors, Thomas said in an open letter posted on the school website. I can only ask for your understanding and respect for the fact that the college is prioritizing your health and safety ahead of all else. We are committed to the principle that our athletes are first and foremost students. Morehouse is believed to be the first scholarship football program to cancel its 2020 season. Florida Tech shut down its football program entirely in May due to the pandemic, and at least 4 games involving historically black colleges and universities such as the Heritage Classic between Jackson State and Tennessee State, have been canceled. Thomas said the decision was made with the health and well-being of the students and community in mind, and that no decisions have been made on winter or spring sports. It follows my intention to maintain a safe campus in hopes that our students will be able to return in August, Thomas said. Morehouse, which competes at the NCAA's Division II level, was scheduled to open its season September 5th in Atlanta against Edward Waters College. So there you have it. The Southern Heritage Classic is canceled, and Morehouse College has decided to cancel its football and its other fall sports as well too, for the safety and well-being of the student athletes, which he emphasized, we are committed to the principle that our athletes are first and foremost students. But the good thing is, at least the scholarships will be honored. So these are the times in which we live in, and we can't, as the old saying goes, we can't tell someone how to run their household. So this is this college. Question is, will there be any other colleges and universities that follow suit? I know there are some institutions, some universities plan on starting the season just right. You look around at the SEC, some of those schools plan on playing. You look at the Big 12, and the Big 12 is kind of like guarded optimism. But we're dealing with HBCU schools right now in this segment. And when you look at the cancellation of the Heritage Classic, which is a big thing, and then you look at one school deciding to cancel its fall sports, and then there's another school that basically since last May, Florida Tech shut down its entire football program. It's a serious matter. So, like I said, these are the times in which we live in, and we have to respect the decisions made by those in upper offices, such as your school presidents, your athletic directors. And this is the decision based on the data that they have received. So, all we do is wish them the best and hope things continue to get better. Possibly, maybe winter sports will be able to be played. So, with the new 2020 NBA schedule out, how will the playoff races shape up, and who will advance to the finals, and which team win it all in October? There is more uncertainty this year about how teams will perform, with the players largely sidelined for 4.5 months before play resumes on July 30th. And with all the games being played without fans at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Orlando, Florida. Still, we can take a look at the players available in the schedule announced Friday by the NBA on ESPN to get an idea what to expect. Let's take a look at the results, what we can learn from them, and who should be favored in this unique NBA postseason. Play-in possibilities. The most unusual aspect of the NBA restart format is a possible play-in tournament in each conference to determine the 8 seeds. These games will take place if the team in ninth is within 4 games of the team in 8th. Let's break down the probability of that happening in the West and the East. So in the Western Conference play-in, here's what you have. You're looking at Memphis, New Orleans, Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio, Phoenix. Right now you're looking at a play-in matchup is naturally much more likely in the West, where 5 teams have been invited to try to knock out the current 8th place team, the Memphis Grizzlies. In more than 90% of simulations, we end up with a gap of 4 games or fewer between 8th and 9th with the Grizzlies typically, but not always entering as a seed. In that case, the play-in format requires them to win just 1 game of 2 possible games to advance to the playoffs. The New Orleans Pelicans are the most likely team currently outside the playoffs to earn their way into a play-in matchup, doing so better than half the time. That is based on a combination of being with a healthy Zion Williamson, the top-rated contender for 8th by RPM, and having the easiest schedule of seeding games. In fact, the Pelicans make up the entire 3.5 game deficit and pass Memphis for 8th almost 1/5 of the time. In our projections, Portland's chances of reaching the play-in matchups are hampered by the loss of starting forward Trevor Ariza, who will not play in Orlando to participate in a visitation period with his son. The Blazers do still have an edge on the Sacramento Kings, nominally tied at 3.5 games back of 8, by virtue of a winning percentage 1,000th of a point better. The San Antonio Spurs and Phoenix Suns, who have to pass 3 and 4 teams respectively, are long shots to make the play-in matchup. So who's the 8th place team in the East? Well, there's 3 teams to look at. There's Brooklyn, Orlando, Washington. In the East, impeding free agent Davis Bertans' decision to sit out the restart further hampered the Washington Wizards' faint chances of making up 2 games on either the Brooklyn Nets or Orlando Magic to force a play-in matchup. Without Bertans, the Wizards win just 2 of their 8 scheduled games on average. The Magic, a half game back of the Nets, are slightly more likely to be involved if there is an East play-in. So let's look at the Eastern Conference playoff seedings. Number 1, you would have Milwaukee. Number 2, Toronto. 3, Boston. 4, Miami. 5, Philadelphia. Indiana, Brooklyn, Orlando, Washington. The seeding games also will determine seeds entering the playoffs, and there are a few key races to watch in the East. The Boston Celtics, 3 games back of the Toronto Raptors, still have an outside chance of catching Toronto for second, which would affect the team's first-round matchups, though no longer home court advantage in a possible matchup in the conference semifinals. Meanwhile, 4th through 6th remain up for grabs between the Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers, with those 3 games separated by just 2 games heading to Orlando. Western Conference playoff seedings, you have LA Lakers, LA Clippers, Denver, Utah, Houston, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Memphis, New Orleans, Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio, Phoenix. The top 2 seeds in the West are close to set. Those Denver Nuggets have an outside chance of passing the LA Clippers for second. The big battle in the West is from 3 through 7, with 4 teams separated by 2.5 games, and another, the Dallas Mavericks, 1.5 games back. Assuming the Clippers stay in second, avoiding the 7th seed will be important, and the Mavericks move out of that spot better than half the time. I will do another segment later, and we're going to look at how far each team will advance and championship chances. But for now, I'm signing out. Have a wonderful evening. So at the end of my podcast, you will notice there's a call-in number. There's also an email if you want to email your comments, or you can text me your comments. I'll be glad to address them.